Howdy, howdy. Got another incredible live for you all this evening. Car horns, first guy in here. I love it. That is our special guest this evening, and I could not be more excited to have him in here. Here we go. Bright and early, baby. In here quick. Already getting comments. How you doing, folks? Hope you all are having a wonderful evening.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, Beast? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic, dude. First of all, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It is an absolute pleasure to have you and get to speak with you this evening in front of everybody. So that is just awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's our pleasure. So first of all, I want to get a little bit of, we're getting a lot of people flowing in here, which is great. I want to get, we'll let this settle in just for a second or two, but I would love to get some background on you, kind of let both of our platforms know a little bit more about yourself, who you are, where you came from, and what it is you're doing and working on right now.
Cool. So yeah, a little background on me. I've been trading for now 4 years. Started unofficially trading when I was going to school. At that time, I was working, going to school. Therefore, I couldn't, spend 3-4 hours a day. So it was more so like swing trading, paper trading, just because at the time didn't have a lot of money. So yeah, was swing trading, was seeing, some good results, paper money, of course. But then I started to realize like you can really make good money off of this. So I was going to school to be a police officer, and eventually over time I was like, man, I really don't want to do this. There's only one way to get out of this, and I got to figure out what that is. So started to see people on YouTube making some crazy money in trading, and now we're here.
Okay, well, that's fantastic, and that's such a big life swing for you, and a lot of respect for that. And that was a very admirable career path that you were going to be taking, but you realized that there was something else you'd rather do, and that's awesome. And it takes a lot of internal strength to be able to make that decision. It takes a lot, and it's a risk, right? So that's incredible. I just want to note you're getting a heck of a lot of compliments already in the chat. A lot of people giving you some great compliments, which is good. We love our guests, so this is good. You're getting a lot of great feedback. So I'm already getting comments seeing that you're the king of swing trades. A lot of people love what you do as a trader, I guess. So not to hop into trading immediately, but I would love to hear about some of the ways that you've become a primarily focused in swing trading, kind of how you look at that and how you address the market in terms of your swing trading.
Yeah, so real quick before I show the chart, like I said, when I first started, I couldn't day trade. So I started learning the swing trading. And then when I fully could say like, hey, I can actually sit in front of the computer, that's when I started to learn day trading more. So yes, let's, how do I flip my camera? How do I do this? All right, let's see. All right, so real quick, a little bit about my strategy, right? Let me turn this light off. There we go. Okay. So I know it looks like this chart's a mess, but when it comes to my swing trading, I have a certain set of rules when it comes to swing. So I don't swing trade stuff like Facebook. I don't like to swing trade stuff like Square. The way I go about my swing trading is I actually prefer to swing trade companies like CVS or USO. I don't really know what to name these companies. I just say lesser known companies because they're not like an everyday trade. So before I hop into why I do that, there's a few indicators that I use. So I got this set of moving averages and the simple moving averages on here. Then I use the on balance volume, which is this indicator right here. Then I like to use my stochastic slow and the Ttm squeeze, which is probably my favorite indicator. So basically what I'm looking for in swing trades is I like to see the stock above the moving averages. I like to see the on balance volume uptrending. So I want to see this line uptrending. Maybe a stochastic buy signal thrown in there, which would be nice. And then if the TTM squeeze is in this light blue momentum, maybe some red dots or even orange dots, that's something that I like to look for. Now, so why do I like to swing trade these specific companies? So if we go to, let's just say MGM, right? And we want to swing trade something that expires in 30 days. Which is, $2 out of the money. We're only spending $140 a contract. We look at the delta, $39 delta, $7 gamma. So maybe I only have a, let's say, $2,000 budget. I could buy 15 of these contracts. Well, if we go to Facebook and we go a month out, you're looking $2,000, 1,500. I think they report earnings soon, don't they? I think so. But usually, you know what I mean. So these bigger companies, you got to pay more, and you only got like a $49, $50 delta, like no gamma.
Right.
So if it goes up $1 with the MGMs, I got 15 compared to 1.
Right.
So that's a little bit about my swing trading strategy.
Okay, well that's excellent. I mean, if you're so this is completely, when I was swing trading, I was only swing trading what had an exorbitant amount of volume, insanely high market cap. So I was swing trading, but you're so cool that we get to have conversations like this because we share very different perspectives. So, okay, is there a specific reason why you stay away from the mega or the large caps? Why not trade, Apple, AMD, Microsoft stocks that have relatively good strength to the upside, especially when they fall?
Yeah, so it's specifically because of that delta gamma and like the actual contract cost.
Right.
Again, if I'm going to swing trade Facebook, I'm spending $1,500 for one contract.
Right.
Now, when I swing trade, my swing strategy is I'm giving myself a negative 50% stop loss. So if I'm going in one contract, $2,000, I got to be willing to lose $1,000. Reason being, news could come out overnight, as we've seen recently with Facebook.
Oh,
So you'd have to be willing to lose $1,000 per contract. Now, go and swing trade something like MGM. 30 days out, $150 a contract. I could buy 20, 30 of those. Get $40 worth of delta off a $1 move, and then $10 gamma on top for the next move. So by the time it moves $2, you're talking 60, 70%. Compared to Facebook, $2, you're talking what, like 3%, 4%?
yeah, no, I can't argue with those returns ever. I think that's fantastic. I mean, goodness, for my swing trades or my long-term trades, wow, that's a lot of hearts. For my long-term trades, I usually look for in between, let's say 20 to 40% with runners and primary position included. So, and yeah, absolutely. And the reason why I like the mega caps, but had to move far out and switch over to credit spreads is because who wants to buy long calls on Amazon? I mean, yeah, that's horrible. I mean, it's, could get up to 10 grand a contract or even more, even 20, 30 grand. So, dropping that amount on a leverage position, which inherently has, way more risk than any equity purchase you could make, it's a scary deal. So what you're talking about, there's, I'm loving every bit of what I'm hearing. I think that's fantastic. And the fact that you're doing this and you're leveraging these moves and it's over a swing trade rather than all right, I'm utilizing an unbelievable amount of movement in a mid-cap stock, and I'm getting in and I'm getting out. Like, that's not what you're doing. And that's fantastic. And I know that's not what you're doing, but that's fantastic. So, goodness, I mean, so many questions are popping up for me. First thing is, a lot of guys, because I have the TTM Squeeze up on my Thinkorswim back from when I was day trading and swing trading. Could you go into your TTM Squeeze and how you utilize it and what it is that you're primarily deploying it for?
Yeah. So you want to know what's crazy about the TTM Squeeze? I would say this is my number one indicator. And then very recently they hit me up and they wanted me to be an affiliate for it. Yeah. So let me show you real quick. I know. So what I look for in the TTM Squeeze, and I know it's not like focusing for some reason, but let me get a cleaner chart. So with the Pro edition of the TTM Squeeze, the free edition, you only get here, let me make it bigger. You get the red dots and the green dots. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hardly.
Pretty clearly.
Okay. So you get the red dots and the green dots with the free edition. However, once you get the Pro edition, you get the black dots and the orange dots. Now, when I'm looking for swings, I really like to look for something that has the light blue momentum with red dots or even better orange dots. trying to think of something recently. Like TXN. We swung this not too long ago. Nice little 100% gain. But if we go to the weekly time frame, the average orange dot squeeze is only like 3 bars. So the fact that this thing's sitting in the orange dot squeeze for, what is this, 8 bars? That's more than double the normal. So we can see it's above the moving averages. The on-balance volume is uptrending. And then we get stochastic buy signals. That's why I use all these indicators, because swing trading, to me, it's more so piecing together different pieces of the puzzle and then figuring out where can this thing go. So if we're starting to see these orange dots, it's basically saying, like, grab me by the face and pay attention to me because I'm about to make a big move. And then, of course, you got your chart patterns. It broke out here. That's where we got in. And then this thing flew to the upside. So I'm really looking for those red dots, orange dots. The higher the time frame, the bigger the move's going to be. But yeah, so that's really what I look for in the squeeze. And then like Boeing. Like Boeing today was below the moving averages. Showed all the signs that it wants to fire down, and it did. Or it's starting to. So you're starting to get the red dots below the moving averages, and then boom. So yeah, it's kind of what I look for in the squeeze.
Well, that's a fantastic explanation. Thank you so much for that. I know for a multitude of reasons, on top of what you so kindly provided, the TTM squeeze is an incredible indicator for day traders, scalpers, swing traders, and now you're getting affiliated by them, which means you probably know what you're doing with it, and it's probably helped quite a bit.
Yes.
That's, first of all, congratulations on that, and second of all, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's such a okay. Well, then you're just making me stack on more questions for you. I gotta pick your brain more here. So, for additional indicators, and you and I were chatting a little bit about this. So we've got, everybody's got their crosses, their RSI. Some people have gotten over to the TTM squeeze and have really benefited from it. What indicators do you most pair with the TTM squeeze? What do you use as additional or secondary indicators to your TTM squeeze when you're trying to enter a trade?
Okay, so I would say like 99% of my strategy is actually just going to be the EMAs and then the TTM squeeze.
Okay.
So my whole, specifically swing trading, what I do is the EMAs I use 5, 8, 21, 34, 55, and 89. It's just the Fibonacci sequence of EMAs. So with the 5 on top of the 8, 8 on top of the 21, so on and so forth. Well, if I see that on the daily, weekly, and monthly, it's a clear sign that the stock wants to go up. So if you pair that with the light blue momentum, maybe some red dots on a weekly and a monthly time frame, it paints a very clear picture on which way the stock wants to go. And it's the same thing with the day trading, except what I do is I'll start on the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. And then are they all stacked up? Are they all stacked down? So it's just piecing together which way there's EMA stacked, what's the squeeze telling me, and then just breaking it down smaller time frames.
Okay, so you're using, and this is excellent. This is a really great point for everyone. You're using multiple indicators to provide you your overall thesis on where the stock's going to be moving. And that's fantastic, right? You're finding multiple indicators. You're not just going, okay, my TTM squeeze looks good. All right, guys, we're going in. We're going in. That's crucially important, because there's a lot of new traders that will just, and sometimes this works, but for new traders that are just using 1 or 2 EMAs, or maybe they thought the RSI was the end all be all, right? It's incredible. Guys, I will say this until I'm red in the face. The TTM squeeze is excellent. The EMAs are excellent, but they are indicators, right? If you guys are throwing your life on the line because an indicator's, in the short term is telling you something's going to happen, and then Facebook drops a privacy violation, and then the trade goes sideways, it's an indicator, right? It's a technical indicator. And technical analysis is incredible, provides us so much information. But that being said, it's analysis. We're looking at empirical data that we have and what it is that we might assume could happen in the future. So, and it's so incredible to be able to talk to this gentleman, because another good trader who's using multiple indicators to deploy his strategy and make sure his strategy is relatively bulletproof. We can only do so much. So we chatted a little bit before our live call, and one of the things that I was just that I admired so much is that you are most passionate about teaching, which I love it. I love it wholeheartedly. The reason why we do these live calls is so that we can hopefully provide as much information for both platforms as possible, free of charge. We're not asking for anything. You and I get to have an incredible conversation, and hopefully we're informative, right? And a lot of people get a lot of value from this. So on the teaching aspect, in regards to what you're doing on a daily basis with members, with partners, etc., what are some of the ways that you focus on being able to reflect on your own trades, what it is you're doing, and how that correlates to how you're reproducing that in the form of advice, potentially?
Yeah. So one thing that I do is, no matter what, if I have a losing trade, I could lose $2 in that trade. If it's a losing trade, I want to know why it was a losing trade, because I could have gotten fortunate that time, $2. Next time it could be $2,000. You know what I mean? So I always go back, what happened? So recently I had a swing trade on Citibank. Did I lose a lot? No, but it was a losing trade that in the future could have been bigger. So I go back, look at the daily time frame. Oh, the 100 SMA is like 20 cents above this thing. And knowing what the 100 SMA is, it's a major area of resistance. Well, that's why I lost this trade. It came right up to it the previous day, came back down. I entered the one day, and then it was, it came down, got out of the trade. So for me, reflecting on my own trades, again, it could be a small loss, could be a huge loss, but I want to know what happened. Was one indicator telling me something that all the other indicators were not? So reflect on that, but I also reflect on the winners. What made this trade a winner and not a loser? So anybody who, follows me on YouTube or is in the server or anything, they know that I have a certain criteria that I look for every single time in a swing trade. And most of the time it ends up banging because I have a certain criteria that I stick to. And if it doesn't, if I'm looking at something and it doesn't meet the criteria, I usually just skip it. So at that point, the way that I reflect on it when it comes to teaching, again, when I teach, I want to give the best information as I possibly can. I don't just want to be like, yeah, come learn from me, and I'm going to promise you're going to make all this money. Not like that. But I want them to learn from my mistakes, because I'll reflect on losing trades too. Show them, what does a winning trade actually look like for me? What does a losing trade look like? Therefore, they can avoid it going into the future.
Well, you're never going to hear any complaints from me teaching that way. I don't complain to begin with. So I think that is phenomenal. And I also want you to note, and something just to pat yourself on the back for a little bit, throughout the entirety of you answering that question, you got multiple #1 mentor, best teacher. You got a YouTube shout out. So there's a lot of people in here. You've obviously been able to help tremendously, and that's incredible. So I cannot show more appreciation for that, because there's so much, yeah, absolutely, and well deserved. So there are so many people in our space who do what it is that you were joking about, and they're like, oh, I'm going to make you a profitable trader for sure, right? I'm going to make you all this money. You're going to join my course. You're going to buy my ragu, whatever bull. So it's just, sorry, not ragu, guru, but still ragu, same thing. So it's irritating, but it's so good to have somebody who comes on public platforms and provides a lot of this just open source, free knowledge, right? Because you have experience and you're able to provide information based on what it is you've experienced. I always tell people, I don't think I'm an any better trader than anybody else. All I have is 2 years of me banging my head against a wall, and I'm starting to find some openings finally. So I really, really appreciate that perspective, and I think that's excellent. So the other big thing here is, let's say we have a lot, I would assume we have a lot of new traders in here. And let's say you were to sit down with someone, what are some of the basics? Where would you have someone start? What would be some of the best beginning information you could provide to someone?
Honestly, I would say books would be like the best possible place to start, because people write books for a reason. It's because they're an expert in that field. So, I mean, if you were to look up technical analysis books, find the one with the highest rating, there's a reason it's the highest rating. So, one of my favorite books, I actually have it sitting right next to me. This one probably, you know, did me the best. What's it actually called? Candlestick and Pivot Point Trading Triggers. This thing taught me how to use the person's pivots, and this is a $40 book. And using those pivots, man, I'm telling you, it's basically made me an infinite return. So books are definitely going to be your best friend, especially because they're cheap. Because if maybe you're only 18 years old, maybe you don't have $2,000 to go buy somebody's course. Well, you could spend $40 on a book and probably learn just as much information as you would in that course. So I would say books would definitely be the way to go. On top of that, trying to find like a good mentor. So like a mentor that's actually going to take the time to teach you. But yeah, that's probably where I would send them. And also, if you're a beginner, I always suggest paper trading. So a lot of people, they get in with the intention, oh, I'm going to make 10 grand this week. And then the exact opposite happens. So I always say, you know, if you're just starting, paper trade, stack up your cash on the side, do paper trading month, 2 months, then you can fund an account, because now you're actually like familiar with what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing.
You covered a lot there, and there's so much that I want to respond to. But the biggest thing for our viewers primarily that I want to focus on is we have a lot of individuals who are in college, or maybe they don't necessarily want to be in college and they're working full time and they're trying to figure out a way to either provide themselves financial stability, and, you know, independent of any other outsource, or they're in college and they're trying to educate themselves, and they've got student loans, you know, they've got other expenses, and they just don't have a whole lot of money to produce in order to pay for someone's, you know, $1,000 course, or a bunch of money to throw into the stock market haphazardly. So the two biggest things that I took from that, and as a college student, and I wish this was something I focused on, and I was in college for 1 year, so I didn't last long, but if I were to have sat down and I were to have read more, and if I were to have paper traded far longer than I did, I can almost guarantee you that there was a list of mistakes that I would have paper traded through and realized, oh, that would have been bad. That would have been bad. And there's a multitude of things that I had to learn the hard way. You know, $5,000 loss, $10,000 loss. And just because I was over leveraging, or I wasn't legging in appropriately, or I didn't have the proper risk management, or I just didn't know what I was doing. So that being said, guys, a lot of you all tell me that paper trading, and this is true before you guys get upset with me, paper trading, there's no emotional attachment to it. And sometimes it's very hard to take it seriously because it's not your money. The best way to move past that is to really hold yourself accountable with reflection. With paper trades, you can see just how well you're doing as you would with a normal portfolio. So if you're paper trading for 2 months and you're semi-profitable, maybe had some big losses, maybe you had one big trade, big return, is that realistic? Is it sustainable? And transactions in the mouse clicks, they don't lie. They just don't. So if you made a good decision or a bad decision, or if all of the studying and the due diligence you're putting in is paying off, paper trading will show that, absent, you know, the emotional tie to it. However, if you can add a little bit of money into an account and trade live with your paper trades, then you're going to start to get over that emotional imbalance that you'll see as a new trader. And I think that's extremely imperative. I mean, you're providing so much incredible information for new traders and people trying to get into this community. And that's all we're trying to do at the end of the day, is be as informative and as educationally focused as possible, so that hopefully you guys don't mess up as much as I have. I'm sure this gentleman probably hadn't gone through the ringer too much, hopefully. But I've screwed up over and over and over again. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that you guys are not doing the same. So that's why we have these calls. Now, for somebody who is trying to get more into swing trading, how would you recommend? Because it took me, just like you, I realized I couldn't day trade. I couldn't scalp. I was absolutely worthless, and my emotions, I couldn't get past them. Couldn't sleep at night. What would you recommend for people that are saying, hey, you know, maybe with my work, it's a little bit better if I swing trade, so I don't have to micromanage it as much? What would you recommend would be the good first step to moving from day trading to swing trading or longer term trading?
Yeah, so when it comes to the biggest thing that I see is people when they take swing trades, they're so focused on a smaller time frame. Like
Right.
you could have something that expires in 2 months, and there's people that will watch it on a 5 minute and they're like, oh my God, it's going down. I'm down 10%. I'm selling it. And I'm like, you got 2 months. So when it comes to swing trading, not paying attention to the smaller time frames. So if I got something that expires in a year, I'm going to watch the weekly time frame. If it expires in 2 months, I'm gonna watch the daily. If it expires in 2 weeks, I'll watch the 4 hour. I'm not too concerned about what's happening on a 1 minute or a 5 minute, but looking at the bigger picture is what makes these smaller time frames do what they do anyway. So with my swing trading, I always start on the monthly time frame because I want to know the bigger picture. So something I've noticed when I'm swing trading, if it's overextended from the monthly 5 EMA, what's more than likely going to happen on a daily is it's going to pull back until it hits the monthly 5 EMA. We saw it very recently with the SPY. Pulled back right to that monthly 5 EMA, went right back up. So not getting caught up in these smaller time frame swings and not looking at your position. I can't tell you how many times I've been down 30, 40%, and then I'm up 200, 300%. So
that's excellent. That's
yeah.
excellent. That right there, and I don't word it as well as you did, but that right there is what I tell everybody. Look at the bigger picture. And if anybody asks me what I do with my life, what I do with the market, how I read earnings reports, how I look at the banks, etc., big money, smart money, how I look at my own money, is look at the bigger picture. Like I am, you and I think so similar with so much, and it's so incredible to be able to have a conversation with you because there's things that you and I do very differently, but fundamentally we agree on a lot, which is so incredible. So let's gosh, that was such a great point. I don't want to necessarily end on that, but we're getting close to our 30-minute time. So if you don't mind, other than all of the unbelievable compliments you've been getting, I'd like to open up the floor for you guys who are still here, and thank you all so much for you guys who are still around. I'd like to open up the floor for you all for any questions you might have for either of us, preferably the gentleman on the other side of the camera here. Would love to get any questions we could get. There's a lot that's come in, mostly in the form of how incredible of a teacher you are. So I couldn't be more proud of you for that.
Thanks.
I can be his firstborn. Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, for some reason I can't see the questions. They're not loading. You're gonna have to pick some out.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So, all right. So, what's your max stop loss on a swing trade?
Usually 50% is where I put it. So, if I get in with $1,000, I should be willing to lose 500. So position myself in a way that if it did pull back $500, that negative $500 stop shouldn't change my day. It was calculated before I even went into the trade.
And then how do you calculate in if, for example, there's a very large move to the downside and your stop loss triggers?
Wait, say that again. Oh, like what if that happened?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I accept the loss. So yeah, if it comes down and it hits it, I can always get back into the trade. But what if it came down and it kept going down and I didn't have that stop loss? Well, now I'm looking at like negative 80%, negative 70%. So $500 might have not been bad, but maybe $800 is, going to send me a little bit over the edge.
All right. Well, I mean, that's fantastic. There you go. And that's a great way to look at it. It's a conservative way to look at it. And I love it. Okay. So what is the shortest time frame that you swing?
I would say the lowest I'll go is a 4 hour to, oh, you mean like, I see. So maybe like I do same week expirations when it comes to swing trades, but if I'm doing a same week expiration, it's known as a butterfly spread is what I do. We actually just did one on Netflix for earnings and it came back today and it was like plus 60%. So yeah.
Well, I love spreads, and on all my leverage positions are credit spreads. So maybe I need to open my spread portfolio here and learn
Butterfly spreads.
Yep. So I need to be looking into that some more. I've had a couple people bring them up to me, and then iron condors and a couple other things. So I still have quite a bit of learning to do. So, all right. So there was somebody who asked, how were you able to make the transition from swing trading to day trading and scalping? Actually, it's actually the opposite for that question. We both moved out of day trading and scalping into longer term trading, swing trading?
Oh, well, no. I do both of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
I prefer swinging any day of the week, of course. But yeah, there's different strategies that I have when it comes to day trading versus swing trading. Again, swing trading, three main time frames I'm paying attention to is the monthly, weekly, daily. Those moving averages. I use more indicators for swing trading: stochastic slow, TTM squeeze, and the on balance volume. When I'm day trading, I pay attention to the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and then when it actually comes to trading, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. So when I'm actually day trading, I pay attention to the moving averages, TTM squeeze, level 2. So different strategies for both.
There you go. Perfect. That's a great answer. So, all right, do you go heavier with swings as opposed to day trades? I always go half my positions in swings. So what do you do for those?
I would say I go a little lighter in the swing trades just because, again, I have to be willing to lose 50%. When I'm day trading, like 15, 20% is what I'm willing to lose. So I could go heavier in there. And as soon as I know that the position's going against me, I'm out of it. Right. Swing trading, we got a swing trade on Facebook, and Facebook news comes out and gaps down $15. Well, you know, I'm going to have to accept that loss in the morning. I can't do anything after 4 o'clock to 9:30 the next morning.
You're rubbing it in. Leave me alone. Oh, man. Gosh. Yeah, guys, I'm in a Facebook trade, and obviously it's not treating me too well. So, oh, Lord. But it's all the way out to January and February. So, well, December, January, and February. And I've got equity, too, so I'm still long-term bullish on Facebook, yada, 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 all the Facebook news, blah, blah, blah. So, no, I just thought it was fun. I just thought it was funny. Still pounding me into the dirt here, I see. All right, so let's see if we can take a couple more questions. Just about any question, okay, here we go. So, and also just to answer some of the YouTube questions, you have a pretty comprehensive YouTube channel that you go over a lot on, correct? Cover a lot. You go into that real quick?
Say that again, sorry.
You want to go over YouTube and kind of what you have on there, what people could expect if they go on?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me pull it up. Let's see. All right. So, let's see. Okay, so basically what you're expecting on my YouTube. First off, I got over like 250 videos on here. So a lot of free information that you're going to be able to find. I talk everything from my swing trading strategy to some day trading strategies, how to use Fibonacci. I talk a lot about crypto, some stocks that I see potential in. So if you guys are in the live stream, you know about HUT. Been making these HUT videos since $5. Hit 13 the other day. And then I also go live every single morning, give you guys a free pre-market watch list. So you're learning a lot on this YouTube. So yeah, that's what you can expect.
There you go. There you go.
Brandon Trades.
I love it. Guys, that is what we are prioritizing here. And when you all, I'm seeing all these compliments about how incredible a trader they're showing. And I know it's true. I know it's true. And he's providing you all so much free information in the form of YouTube. We're getting on these calls together, and I'm sure we're going to have many more with the Team Bull in the future. And I'm so excited to have you all of you guys on multiple times, because you guys never fall short of expectations. Your all's earning reports are great. Sorry to make that funny, but you guys are doing great things, helping so many people. You guys are down to earth, and I absolutely love it. So I really, really appreciate your time. If there's anything you'd like to shout out or plug any of the other guys, please feel free to do so. I'm going to give you another minute or so, and then we're probably summing up just an incredible conversation, in my opinion.
Cool. Shout out everybody at Team Bull, Jadon, Gino, and Grizzly. Those are my brothers. Honestly, I owe everything to the people in Team Bull. They definitely got me to where I am today. So shout out them. And everybody in Team Bull. I appreciate all of you. You guys are family. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So
that's incredible. Well, I can attribute a little bit to Team Bull as well. I've had incredible conversation with Gino, with Jadon. I love both of those guys. Love both of them. And now I have a lot of respect for you as an individual and just how passionate you are about educating. And that's just incredible. So I really appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for letting me pick your brain pretty haphazardly. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Always. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate all you all who were in here as long as you could be in here. And if we still got 95 people sitting in here. So thank you all so much for joining. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to either of us. He's on his Instagram right now. You got Team Bull. You've got OBR Investing. My personal is Stocks with CC. I'm all over the IG Live, and I'll be tagged on this video as well, and so will this gentleman. So you guys have full access to us. Reach out anytime. We'll help you with whatever we can. And thank you again, Beast.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
See you.